and the structure of today's quiz. There'll be 5 rounds of quizzing. 2 rounds, we call the potpourri round, going clockwise and anti-clockwise, 6 questions each. And then we have a listed round, which my colleague Anaga will run for all of you. And then the last 2 rounds will be connect the dots and on the buzzer, right? So I will, ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆದರೆ ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ. ಐ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಓದಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ತೀನಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿ ನಂತರ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ, ರೈಟ್? 5 ಸುತ್ತುಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ, 2 ಪಾಟ್ಪುರಿ ರೌಂಡ್ಗಳು, ಒಂದು ಲಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್, ಬಜರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫೈನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ potpourri round. Round 1, potpourri will kick action with IISc, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And the rules will be, we will also have...
Excuse me.
Yes?
Could the TV be turned slightly towards us? I can't see.
Okay. So can we have some of the volunteers really helping you guys? Yeah, please ensure that you are able to see the screen. I think that's, in fact, that's placed only folks are able to see it well. Yeah? Wonderful. Please ensure all the team members, you're able to see the screen properly. Right, we are good to go. One day, Andre, we have what is called a pounce round. All the finalists know of it. After about 10 seconds after I read out the question, any team here can indicate that they know the answer and they can write and show it to me that they know the answer. Idu yake antandre esto sali you may know the answer but you might not be in the pass, right? You might not get the opportunity to answer it. So idaralli we make it fair. Yare obru, if you think you know the answer, they can answer it within the first 10 seconds by raising your hand and writing it. But note, +10 if you get it right, -10 if you get it wrong. If there are 2 parts to the question, I need both the parts for getting the pounce answer right. Right? So that will be the rule. And there'll be no negative marking on our potpourri round. And I think we'll start off with the first question on your screens. On August 31st, 1949, the Constituent Assembly was categorizing items into the Union list and state lists. Amidst the process, H.V. Kamath proposed an unconventional addition to the Union list, which elicited laughter at the Constituent Assembly. He stated, "Within the last 50 years, there has been more advancement in the various fields of science than in the previous 500 years. Researches in X-rays, medicine, jet-propelled planes, of which we hear so much today. We can hear many big changes in the near future. The advance has been remarkably phenomenal." Finally, the Constituent Assembly did not accept the proposal. What specific entity is being talked about here, which is quite prescient to the present times? Right? So, teams pouncing. I'll take your pounce. I'll read it in Kannada also for the benefit of the audience, and I'll quickly come to you. Right? So you get a little more time, right? So August 31ರಂದು 1949ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಸಭೆಯ ಕೆಲವು ಐಟಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಪಟ್ಟಿಗಳಾಗಿ ವರ್ಗಾಯಿಸಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ನಡೆಯುವಾಗ H.V. ಕಾಮತ್ ಅವರು ಒಕ್ಕೂಟದ ಪಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅಸಾಂಪ್ರದಾಯಿಕ ಒಂದು ಸೇರ್ಪಡೆಯನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ನಗುವ ಒಂಥರ ನಗುವನ್ನು ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಅವರು ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಳೆದ 50 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ವಿವಿಧ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದಿನ 500 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಪ್ರಗತಿ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಕಿರಣಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ರೇಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಔಷಧಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಜೆಟ್ ಚಾಲಿತ ವಿಮಾನಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳು ನಾವು ಇಂದು ತುಂಬ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಅನೇಕ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯಾಗಿ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬಹುದು. ಈ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಯ ಗಮನಾರ್ಹವಾಗಿದೆ, ಅಸಾಧಾರಣವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಸಭೆಯ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾವನೆಯನ್ನು ಅಂಗೀಕರಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಪೂರ್ವಭಾವಿಯಾಗಿರುವ ಯಾವ ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಪ್ರವೇಶದ ಕುರಿತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈ H.V. ಕಾಮತ್ ಅವರು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸಲಹೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಫರ್ಡ್, ಆಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಪೌನ್ಸಿಂಗ್, sorry, I'll just give you the English one. So teams which are pouncing, I need you to raise your hands now. 3, 2, and 1. I will take the pounce answers. I'll start actually from here. Quickly, if you can show your pounce answers. Okay? Right. I've seen all their answers, and the direct is to Indian Institute of Science.
So this is space travel.
So
Space
I
travel,
think
yeah.
it's an apt question to Indian Institute of Science. Space travel is the correct answer. Can we have a huge round of applause? So space travel. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟರಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅಂತರಗ್ರಹ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಪ್ರಯಾಣ. I will, so in terms of points, teams which pounce, if you can raise your hands just for me to kind of award. So IIT Madras 10 points, Goa University 10 points, 10 points to NLU Delhi and 10 points to FMS Delhi. All of them got it right. GNLU got it right. NLU Odisha got it right. Unfortunately, IIM Calcutta said artificial intelligence, which is a good guess. Unfortunately, not the right answer, but good guess. And Indian Institute of Science got it right on the 10 points. Well done. So, space travel in a ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. Next ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, and the direct is to Indian Institute of Management since it's a bounce. Calcutta, IMC question coming up on the screen. Teams also, I understand, since I'm reading in Kannada also, in case you want me to go slow, clarify, it's the national finals, I completely understand. Take your time. I'll probably wait it out, right? So, okay. Moving on, I am Calcutta, your direct question coming up on the screen now. So during the Quit India movement in 1942, a pivotal role was played by this lady, Miss Usha Mehta, a 22-year-old student activist, along with the assistance of notable figures like Vithalbhai Javeri, Vithal Das Kakkar, Chandrakant Javeri, Ram Manohar Lohia, among others. This clandestine operation, operating for a span of only 3 months, being forcefully dismantled by the British authorities, covertly orchestrated activities in various locations spanning Mumbai and Nasik. What are we referring to, which was an important aid for propagating the independence fervor for the people, right? So that's the question. I'll quickly read the Kannada bit so that people pouncing have an advantage. 1942ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಕ್ವಿಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಚಳುವಳಿಯ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ 22 ವರ್ಷದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತೆ ಉಷಾ ಮೆಹ್ತಾ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಪಾತ್ರವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಈ ವಿಠಲ್ಭಾಯ್ ಜವೇರಿ, ವಿಠಲ್ ದಾಸ್ ಜಾಕರ್, ಚಂದ್ರಕಾಂತ್ ಜುಬೇರಿ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಮ್ ಮನೋಹರ್ ಲೋಹಿಯಾ ಮುಂತಾದ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರ ಒಂದು ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಪಡಿತಾರೆ. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಬಲವಂತವಾಗಿ ಕಿತ್ತು ಹಾಕುವ ಮೊದಲು 3 ತಿಂಗಳು ಕಾಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆ ನಡೆಸಿದ ಈ ರಹಸ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆಯ ಮುಂಬೈ ಮತ್ತು ನಾಸಿಕ್ನ ವಿವಿಧ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಚಳುವಳಿಯ ಉತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಮಾಡಲು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಸಹಾಯವಾಗಿದ್ದ ಯಾವ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. I've read it in Kannada. So now pouncing quickly, raise your hands. I see 3 teams pouncing. I close pounce. I quickly check their answers. I've seen their answers, and the direct was to I am Calcutta. Over to you.
So she operated a radio station, it's called Free India Radio or something.
So she operated a radio
Station which communicated news about the freedom struggle.
Communicated news on the freedom movement, getting more people to know about what is happening with our freedom fighters, what is British India doing. That's correct answer. We'll give it to you. This is Congress radio ಅಥವಾ ಆಜಾದ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಮೊಮೆಂಟಿಗೂ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಗೆ ಆ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋರು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ತರಹದ ಒಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಜಾದ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಆರ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಪೌನ್ಸ್ಡ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಲಿ ರೇಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. JNLU 10 points. We have 10 points to FMS Delhi, and Goa University also cracking it with 10 points. Right? So you can see a small video around it also.
अंग्रेजों को लग रहा है कि उन्होंने क्विट इंडिया का सर कुचल दिया है, लेकिन आजाद आवाजें कैद नहीं होती। यह है हिंदुस्तान की आवाज, हिंदुस्तान में कहीं से कहीं पे हिंदुस्तान में।
Right, so radio is correct answer. Next question, direct to NLU Odisha. Your question coming up on the screen. Here it comes. This famous author was appalled by how League of Nations was not in a position to stop armed conflict. And he went on to publish what's called The Rights of Man and call for a profound reconstruction of the methods of human living. The drafts written by him inspired the Indian Constitution as well. This document was adopted by the General Assembly as resolution number 217 during its session held at Paris in France. Name the author and document. So I need two parts to the answer. You need to identify who the author was, who wrote this book, The Rights of Man, and the draft of a very famous document was inspired with this particular author's draft, which in the book, The Rights of Man. Right? So I want you to identify both parts if you're pouncing. Right? And with that question, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಜಗತ್ತಿನಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಶಸ್ತ್ರ ಸಂಘರ್ಷವನ್ನು ಹೊರಹಾಕಲು ಲೀಗ್ ಆಫ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿಫಲವಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಈ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ಲೇಖಕರು ದಿಗ್ಭ್ರಮೆಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದರು. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಹಕ್ಕುಗಳು ಎನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕವನ್ನು ಮಾನವ ಜೀವನ ವಿಧಾನಗಳ ಆಳವಾದ ಪುನರ್ಮಾಣ ಎಂಬ ಕರೆಯನ್ನು ಇವರು ಪ್ರಕಟಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪುಸ್ತಕವು ಒಂದು ಫೇಮಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ನಾಂದಿ ಆಯಿತು. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಈ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಲೇಖಕ ಯಾರು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಫೇಮಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೂ ಭಾಳ ಪ್ರಭಾವವನ್ನು ಅದು ಬೀಳ್ತು, ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು. Okay, so that's the question. I'll move on to the English part for all of you. Teams which are pouncing, please raise your hand. Anyone pouncing? Okay, yeah, one's choosing to pounce. And the direct question was to Odisha. Pounce. I close pounce. And NLU Odisha, your direct answer. So I'll just, before you begin, part points. I will not say whether you've gotten it right or wrong until and I've heard the right answers, and I'll award the first 5 points to the first person who has given the right answer. Right? Okay. Yes, NLU Odisha.
So the document is UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have no idea about the author.
Right. Okay. Moving on to GNLU.
We'll say this is the Geneva Convention, and the person will say is Bertrand Russell.
So Geneva Convention and Bertrand Russell, say GNLU, FMS Delhi.
So we are saying that the document is Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR. And second part?
For lack of a better guess, dicey.
Okay, moving on to NLU Delhi.
We'll go with UDHR, and it's a very random guess for the person. We'll say it's Urge from Tintin.
Urge from Tintin or Georges Remy. Moving on to Goa University.
We'll go with UDHR, and the person is, I'll say it's a Frenchman, Reen Cassin.
Okay, moving on to IIT Madras.
We'll say author is Benjamin Disraeli and the UDHR.
Okay, moving on to Indian Institute of Science.
The book is, of course, like UDHR, and the author we don't have any guess.
You don't have a guess. I am Calcutta.
We'll guess the UDHR and George Orwell.
And the direct was to NLU Odisha. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ or anyone up in the audience, you want to take a crack? Okay, so we have a teacher here who wants to take a crack.
The book is obviously The Rights of the Man by Thomas Paine in 1791. The document is 217 is UDHR, on which this was based upon.
Yeah.
And that influenced the constitution making also, because the question of the race actually was brought from the UDHR.
Yeah, so Thomas Paine also wrote a similar document, but here specifically I'm talking about an author who wrote this Rights of Men, and his draft was taken specifically for UDHR. That is correct. Universal Declaration of Human Rights is correct. So I'll award 5 points to NLU Odisha, who got that right. So 5 points. The author was a famous futurist. He was one of the first people who say to take a train to the moon. ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೈನನ್ನು ಚಂದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಬರೆದಿದ್ರು. Right? All good guess. Right? The right answer we were looking for was, in fact, for me was fascinating, H.G. Wells. Right? So H.G. Wells, who was instrumental in an author ಹೇಗೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಭಾವವನ್ನು ಬೀಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. This is H.G. Wells, Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the right answer. A little bit of a tough one on the finals, but I thought it's a very interesting funda. Direct question to GNLU, your direct coming up on the screen. So, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, ನಮ್ಮ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಹನ್ಸಾ ಮೆಹ್ತಾ ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಹನ್ಸಾ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು JNLU. Here it comes. This practice remained in effect until 1967, but encountered interruptions because of defections, dismissals, and government dissolutions. The initial break in this pattern occurred in 1959, when the central government used Article 356 to remove the Kerala government at the time. In 1999, the Law Commission, under the leadership of BP Jeevan Reddy, advocated for the revival of this concept. The 14th president is heading a commission, is heading a committee to make recommendations to the Law Ministry for the practice's revival. Which practice implemented is supposed to save money to the exchequer are we talking about? So I'll just quickly read it in Kannada for the benefit of everyone. ಈ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯು 1967ರವರೆಗೆ ಜಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಪಕ್ಷಾಂತರಗಳು, ವರ್ಗಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆಗಳಂತಹ ಅಂಶಗಳಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅಡಚಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸಿತು. ಈ ಮಾದರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭಿತವಾದ ಈ ವಿರವು 1959ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇರಳ ಸರ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಹಾಕಲು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರವು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 356 ಬಳಸಿದಾಗ ಇದು ಸಂಭವಿಸಿತು. 1990ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ BP ಜೀವನ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರ ನೇತೃತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಆಯೋಗವು ಈ ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಯ ಪುನರ್ರಚಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದಿಸಿತು. ಈ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದ ಪ್ರತಿಸ್ಪರ್ಧೆಗಾಗಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಸಚಿವಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿಫಾರಸುಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ಭಾರತದ 19ನೇ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು ಒಂದು ಸಮಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನೇತೃತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೊಕ್ಕಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಬೇಕಾದ ಯಾವ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬಹಳ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಇವಾಗ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಿತಿನ್ something that's happening in the current is the clue I gave. Teams bouncing, sorry, I'll go to the English one. Teams bouncing, please raise your hands. Quickly, I'm closing pounce. Please, yeah, close pounce. Teams bouncing, no one from here. Okay. So I've seen the answers from the finalist team, and the direct was to GNLU.
So our answer is one nation, one election, basically simultaneous election at center and state.
Simultaneous elections, correct the Uttara. That's the right answer. So by having simultaneous elections, the state saves up a lot of money. And very interestingly, when we had our independence in 1952 for the first general elections, in fact, was simultaneous elections across. And that continued till 1967. And there is a proposal to bring it back. So that's the right answer. So 10 points to GNLU. And teams which bounced, if you can raise your hand. So Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore gets 10 points. FMS Delhi, 10 points. NLU Delhi, 10 points. Goa University, 10 points. IIT Madras, all of them cracking with good 10 points. This is simultaneous elections or one nation, one election proposal. Very good answers from all of you. Next question coming up on the screen here. And this is directed to FMS Delhi. In 1966, Constituent Assembly member and minister in the Lal Bahadur Shastri cabinet, Mr. Chidambaram Subramaniam, ordered a cricket pitch to be dug up. Rest of the garden at his Lytton's Delhi residence for a certain experiment. It was conducted involving items which were imported from Mexico. And the success of this experiment eventually led to a huge impact on India. And finally, he went on to even win the Bharata Ratna in the year 1997. He was honored with the Bharata Ratna. What experiment is being referred to here? So I will read it quickly in Kannada. Right. So I think me being there, but if I'm not in the middle, I'm wondering if you can all see the screen, but that's fine. I'll just kind of manage. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಿರುವ ಮಹಾನುಭಾವ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಚಿದಂಬರಂ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಅವರು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಹಾಗೆ ಲಾಲ್ ಬಹದ್ದೂರ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಅವರ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್, ಅವರ ಮನೆಯ ಗಾರ್ಡನಲ್ಲಿ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯ ಒಂದು ಗಾರ್ಡನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಿಂದ ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡವಾದ ಪರಿಣಾಮವನ್ನು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಇದರಿಂದ ಬಂತು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಭಾರತ ರತ್ನ ಕೂಡ ದೊರಕುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ರೈಟ್, ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಪೌನ್ಸಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ raise your hand. Okay, so please raise your hand clearly so that I can see that a lot of teams pouncing. I close pounce. I quickly check their answers. Right. So 1 minute. Your answer? Okay, got it. And the direct was to you folks. You want to English? I've put the English. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So essentially what had happened is they had imported pesticides and all these high yield variety seeds and everything. So basically the experiments were about green revolution came about because of
Green revolution came about as a result. Hasiru Kranti ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ ಉತ್ತರ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಹಾಗೆ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಹಸಿರು ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯ ಪಿತಾಮಹ ಅಂತ ಯಾರಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? MS ಸ್ವಾಮಿನಾಥನ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಬೆನ್ನೆಲುಬಾಗಿ ನಿಂತು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಚ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್ ಡನ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ high yield variety of seeds which were taken from Mexico, where noted Nobel Prize scientist, Nobel Prize winning scientist Norman Borlaug had created high yielding varieties of wheat that was supplied to India. So that's the right answer. So experiment ನಡೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರ ಮನೆಯ ಒಂದು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದ ಪ್ಲೇ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಂತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕತೆ ಇರೋದಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ FMS Delhi, good 10 points. Teams which are pouncing, if you raise your hands quickly. IIT Madras, 10 points. 10 points to Goa University. NLU Delhi, 10 points. NLU Odisha, unfortunately, they went with nuclear tests, so minus 10. And plus 10 to Indian Institute Calcutta and Indian Institute of Science Bangalore. Right? And GNLU also. GNLU also got it right. So GNLU, here GNLU got it right, and except NLU Odisha who missed that there. Yeah? Okay, so this is Green Revolution. Next prashne coming up on the screen, and the direct is to NLU Delhi, and I'll try to keep myself in the center. And the direct question. Right. So, this is a longish question, but I will explain this to all of you. Culture Pulse is a behavior prediction as a service company. They predict what drives people using multi-agent AI-created digital twins with a claimed accuracy of almost 90% confidence to they look at real-world outcomes. In August 2023, it signed a contract with United Nations to develop a first-of-its-kind AI model that is not designed to resolve the situation, but to create a realistic virtual simulation of certain territories, analyze and get insights into implementing policies and communication strategies. It can factor in over 80 categories, including traits like anger, morality, family, finances, inclusivity, racism, and hate speech. Which specific purpose is the UN utilizing this AI model for? So, ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು AI ಇಂಜಿನ್. ಇದು ಜನ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 80 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೀಸ್, ಟೆರಿಟರಿ, ಹೇಗೆ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಏನೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಜನ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಪಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಯುನೈಟೆಡ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಯುನೈಟೆಡ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಪ್ರಿಡಿಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ AI ಇಂಜಿನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಇವಾಗ we'll get to English. Which are pouncing, I need you to raise your hand. So I need a specific answer. If you're pouncing, please be careful. Right? Teams which are pouncing, 3, 2, GNLU, are you pouncing? Okay, 3, 2, 1. I see only 2 teams pouncing. Quickly check your answers. Team, I specifically said I need a specific answer for this. Right? I need a specific answer. Right? Okay, because the pounce, I just need to show discretion. Direct is to NLU Delhi.
Okay, so we'll say it's to fight xenophobia and say like hate crimes and all that.
To fight hate crimes is their answer.
Like
Good thinking.
on social media.
On social media. Good answer. Goa University.
We'll go with it's the United Nations to measure the level of democracy. So then
Measuring democracy, right? Good thinking again. Moving into IIT Madras.
Yeah, so we'll say that since this is a behavior prediction as a service thing, it's to identify whether a certain territory is more prone to having crime happen than others.
So trying to see if there is more crime at a particular place. Team, I'm like, you should take, I said specific, so I need you to think of very specific instances. Moving on, Indian Institute of Science. Yeah, IISc, if you can just pass the mic to Indian Institute of Science.
Is it something like to detect like regions that are more prone to war or something like that? No, war.
Okay. Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Since it's a pass, I think I need to be a little faster.
So basically, this is used to predict which territories could be like under threat of having a genocide being executed.
Genocide or crimes, I would have probably given it to them. NLU Odisha.
Are they using it for the Israel-Palestine conflict?
That's the simple answer I was looking for. This is specifically being used in the Israel-Palestine crisis for, in fact, for multiple factors. And because they're not able to identify, ಮುಂದೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. So they're specifically using this presently in the Israel-Palestine crisis, right? So I know most of you came close to it, but there is a reason why I very clearly kind of gave you a caveat, specific purpose, and I wanted you to call out this purpose in this case, and that they are trying to identify what would be the next behavior and so on. So good 10 points to NLU Odisha, very well done. Minus 10 to FMS Delhi and to GNLU, right? Good try. Their answers were, in the overall scheme of things, it probably does all of that as well, but I was looking for a specific kind of purpose for which they were using it.